Do you want to know what kills most real estate businesses when the market shifts? It's not the fact that the buyers went away. It's not the fact that interest rates are up. It's not the fact that sellers are rate locked and they don't want to sell. It has nothing to do with actually the real estate transaction. The number one thing that kills real estate businesses, and it doesn't matter if you're a team or a brokerage or even if you're an individual agent, doesn't matter. What kills real estate businesses when the market shifts is the lack of verticals. It's the lack of multiple streams of income coming in to offset any sort of market conditions. Here's what I mean. So in 99% of real estate businesses out there, that business is completely contingent on buyer and seller, sometimes leases, right? If that's your game, but that is what the business is sort of based on. And without that, you lose everything. Or what's worse is dependent on one or maybe a couple of lead funnels or lead sources. And so when the mighty Google gods come in and decide to Google slap you, okay? Or look, I know someone like, for instance, the CEO of our company, Leo Pareja. I was just hanging out with him in Miami last week. He was telling the story about how he built his business on REOs and Fannie and Freddie and sort of, that REO market. And one day, they decided to shut the funnel off. They're like, hey, this kid, 20, 30-year-old kid has a huge market presence, right? He has a huge market share of a lot of our inventory. Let's just shut him off, okay? The guy did 5,000 transactions and they decided, yeah, let's shut this guy off. He was crushing it. But that's when they decided to pull that lever out or pull the rug out from under. Same thing, I hear it all the time with Google slap and with Zillow slap. That's a thing too now. Facebook slap. They could change their algorithm at any minute. And so when you're dependent on just one funnel, you have everything at risk, right? We call that 100% risk. When 100% of your lead source is coming from one specific source, we call that 100% risk. And so that's the first thing that you want to make sure you're looking at is the diversification of the lead sources. Now, the other thing is diversification of streams of income into your real estate business, AKA verticals. And so just because you're buying and selling doesn't mean that's the only way to generate income without, and this is the key, distraction. There's a big difference between a vertical and a distraction. And that difference is, do I get paid multiple ways for doing the same thing versus being pulled in 8 different directions? That's not what we want. We want to just do this one thing, but we want to be paid multiple ways from it. Let me tell you what I mean. So what some of our top and most successful and most profitable teams are doing here at EXP, number one, you have a team leader. That person may or may not be in production, okay? So you've got the individual production. Now, you choose your poison here because, of course, we know some team leaders, some broker owners want to stay in production. They want to stay current. They have some things that they still want to participate in. That's cool. If that's you, do your thing. Otherwise, you don't want to. That's okay. But just know that is obviously a income option for you to get into production yourself, lead from the front and that whole thing. Then you've got obviously your team split. All right. And so I mentioned in the previous video, how do you handle those team splits? Make sure that the juice is worth the squeeze, so to speak, and that you're actually getting a split that is worth everything that you're investing into the business. And so you've got your agent income that's contributing to you as well, right? You also have stock here at EXP, for an example, right? Whatever brokerage you're with, just kind of think through these things. And so you do something one time, and then you invest some of that money into the stock market, right? And why do we say that? Because that's passive. I would call that a vertical. That's going to be really one of the only true sources of passive income that truly exists on planet Earth. That's the money you put there and the money starts working for you. And so you can set that up to automatically happen whenever income comes in. A percentage of that goes to purchase some real estate or stock. And then those things begin to generate income in and of themselves for you in a sort of active and or passive income stream. And so you want to add that into your income streams as well. And then another one, obviously, is this incredible magical land that we call revenue share here at EXP. Again, this is doing something one time and being paid for it over and over and over again. And you're not adding or doing anything different than what you're already doing now. And so this is another vertical that you can add in. It's called revenue share into your platform. And then the final one is a huge deal. And this one is going to be the ability to add auxiliary services into your real estate model. What do I mean by that? And so title, right? How much of your title business are you giving away to a title company because they buy you a bottle of wine at closing or whatever? They give you a Starbucks gift card or McDonald's, gift card or whatever it is. And that's cool. We love our title company partners. But have you ever thought about setting up a JV with your preferred title company? Okay. Talk to that title company. Say, hey, listen, I did 100 deals last year. I sent 90 of them to you. I think we need to talk about maybe setting up a JV, even if it's just for the deals that I'm sending, for our own deals that we're doing together. Obviously, this is state specific, so you want to talk to the powers that be, whether it be your attorney and whatnot, to kind of find out what's legal, how to do that. But I can tell you that there are many, many states that you can do this, that you can leverage and start really getting some additional income in as well. Also, mortgage is another one, right? So many cases. Again, if you're in that situation where you're doing 50 plus, 100 plus deals a year, you should absolutely, of course, have a mortgage partner. And many of you do. You've already got a mortgage partner. And what you call a mortgage partner is someone that is maybe helping with some co-marketing. Maybe they're giving you a few hundred, a few $1,000s towards your marketing campaigns. Or maybe they're renting a space in your office or whatever. Okay, that's cool. That's chump change though, okay? Again, we want to talk to our mortgage. If you got an LO, you got a friend that's a loan officer, that's amazing. Go to that LO and say, listen, I'm going to open up my own mortgage company. Now I know, that sounds scary, right? Now we're thinking about it, that might be a distraction. No. I'm talking about a plug and play mortgage model. Like what we have here at EXP, we have an incredible system that allows you to be able to plug in, to white label, to grow your own mortgage vertical. Heck, what would it look like? Here's a question for you. What would it look like if instead of getting a couple of hundred or a couple $1,000s from your LO in order to operate out of your office or whatever, right? And to send him all that deal or send her all of those transactions, what would it look like to get 40, 50 basis points on whatever deals you do together? What would that look like? How would that impact into your financial picture? If you were getting 40, 50 basis points, that's what we're talking about here. And by the way, if it was plug and play, if you didn't have to do anything but sign on the dotted line, and all of a sudden you got Tony King Mortgage set up to be another vertical into your real estate business, what does that look like for you? We have partnerships. And again, if you're not with EXP, you can obviously structure your own deals and these sorts of things. If you're with us, it's super easy. You can reach out to me. Matter of fact, drop in a DM. You can DM me with the word verticals, and we'll send you a resource that has all of the cool stuff that you may not know you have access to. But things like Utility Connect and home warranties, and again, all these other ancillary services that kind of surround a real estate transaction that you can legally, RESPA compliant, get some sort of compensation and add another vertical into your business model. And another one, by the way, and I'll leave you with this one, is increasing that transaction fee. If you're not charging a transaction fee on every single deal, that's usually the number one thing that I tell when I'm doing a coaching call or mentorships. I'll say, listen, how much is your transaction fee? So many times they say, nothing, I'm not charging one. Okay, stop that. You need to absolutely charge a transaction fee. And if they're charging one, it's usually not enough. Okay. What I'm recommending is using that 700, stay under $1,000. I think is kind of that breaking point, but usually in that $500 to $700 range, maybe even $800 you can get away with in some markets. And so, for example, let's say that you did 100 deals last year. If you did 100 deals with a $700 transaction fee on each deal, that's $70,000 that you didn't have last year. $70,000. And again, you cut that in half. Let's say you're already charging, $350. You bump that up to 700. Now all of a sudden, what has that done to your income, right? It is an absolutely huge amount of money that you're leaving on the table. And I hear you already. I can hear you behind the screen because I talk to team leaders and broker owners and agents all the time. And what they tell me is like, oh, I could never get away with that because my clients won't agree to that. And like, what if they buck? And, this is a repeat client. I didn't charge it to him last time. And blah, 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 all these things. Okay. So guess what? You don't have to charge everybody. You don't have to charge everybody. And so if you have someone that does buck, and by the way, 80 to 90% of your clients won't even mention it. Okay. 80 to 90% because it's a part of your kind of boilerplate listing agreement or your boilerplate buyer's rep agreement. It's already baked in. Most of your clients aren't even going to pay attention. It's like, okay, cool. This is the fee. It costs what it costs, and you represented value. You presented value to them, so they won't question it. Now, in the instance that you do have someone that bucks, you can say, hey, listen, you know what? You are a repeat client. And so I'm going to waive that fee for you. Done. You don't have to charge it. But even by asking, even by inserting it, even if you only get it 50% of the times, right? You're still looking at $35,000 you didn't have last year. Okay. And so these are just a few verticals, a few ways to really leverage and to get more profitability out of your business. Why? Because we are structuring a force field against a down market, against down economies, high interest rates, market shifts, and all these sorts of things. And so that's one of the things that I highly, highly recommend if you have a real estate business, that you start setting up some of these verticals as a buffer against tough times. So hope that helps.